That's right. If you haven't guessed, our first segment is one of our favorite segments.
Yeah.
What are you watching?
Yes.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like.
What are you watching?
We talk about what we're watching, what shows are going down in our homes, and what is really getting us all excited these days. So I'll kick it off with a show that I'm definitely loving, which is Andor. I mean, y'all. Um, I was trying to explain this to my wife going into the first episode, like what I love so much about
Spies.
the thought of Andor. This was before it even came out, and if y'all don't know, Andor is a Star Wars story. It's not one of the original, trilogy or anything like that, but it is actually, and this is gonna sound whack, but it's actually a spinoff of a spinoff. But like one of the best spinoffs I've ever heard of in any genre of anything
Yeah.
was Rogue One.
Hmm.
Rogue One. Did you like Rogue One, Jariel?
Yeah, that was the best spinoff that they did.
Yeah, like it was dope, and it's like a prequel to episode 4, which is the first Star Wars that came out, A New Hope. So
Hmm.
Rogue One was all about them getting the plans to destroying the Death Star, which is what Luke and everybody did in the first Star Wars. But and then Rogue One was like this guy, Cassian Andor and Jyn Erso, and their behind the scenes journey, which was a dope story of them getting that. And now this is kind of a prequel to that, of like where Andor even came from, where Cassian Andor came from, his origin story, if you will.
Yes.
And I was pumped to explain it to Larissa, and I'm even more pumped to watch it. Like the build to each one of the episodes has been so amazing.
Yes.
It's still going on, dropping every Wednesday. My favorite thing right now in the entertainment world. I'm that dork that's up at 6 o'clock so that I can watch it before I go off to work. Because I mean, Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it's better than, like, if I'm even gonna rank it right now, I would put it, better than the prequels, better than the last sequels. Um, I don't know where, somewhere close to Mandalorian, somewhere with the original 3.
Yeah.
But I'm so enjoying it. Have you been watching it?
I've only caught the first episode, and honestly, it was really good. I wasn't expecting like that first scene. I was like, "Whoa, it's a lot for Disney Plus."
Right. Yeah.
But
Yep.
yeah, I was like, "Oh, it's this is a real show. I like it. It's really good."
And that's one of the things that I really dig about it, is like they're focusing on not just like giving you all of the Star Wars flashy things. They're like, oh,
Hmm.
lightsabers and all the things that just say Star Wars. They're
Yeah,
like, we're going to give you a story, and we're
yeah.
gonna like talk about this guy's background and everything. Yo, what up, Tammy? Tammy James in the building.
We missed you.
Yeah, we missed you last time. Yeah, but that show, I think it's doing a really good job of building the story. Sister, you need to get to episode 3. Episode 3, mwah, chef's
Wow.
kiss. Like
Okay.
really, really,
Okay.
really good stuff. And then it does a bit of a transition from that act, if you will, to like the next act, where it's like, okay, now he's moving on in his journey. And so
Okay.
episode 4 is a bit of a rebuild, if you will. But we don't
Okay.
want to talk about Andor too much. Y'all need to go check it out
Watch it.
on Disney Plus. You won't regret it. I think you can even enjoy it if you don't do Star Wars that much. So
Correct. I
anyway,
think so too. It's
yeah.
a good story.
So what show are you watching, Jario?
I am watching the Power, the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings, the Rings of Power. And unlike Andor, I do feel like if you are not a fan of the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit, this is something that you probably won't enjoy.
Mm, okay.
Only because it's it is rich in backstory about what is something that we've already known to have taken place.
Right. Right.
And I think if elves and orcs are not your thing, this may not be for you, but I'm actually really enjoying it. But I do love The Hobbit and I do love The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. My my journey with Lord of the Rings has always been interesting. So like I grew up loving the book, like as
Mhm.
a what middle schooler, high schooler, the
Yeah.
actual book, The Hobbit.
Yes.
Loved it. It was my favorite book. And then when Lord of the Rings came out, I was like, all right, cool. Like this is in that same world. And I enjoyed it. I wasn't as passionate as some people are like,
Yeah.
all in, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I even own them. Um, Mercedes said, "Oh, so I won't watch that." She's like, "Nope, that's not my thing,
Wait,
dude."
Mercedes. I mean, I might get you on it though.
But I'll say this. So this is where I was going with my thought. I tried it and it was like, yeah, I'm not really digging this show that much. And
Mhm.
then I was talking with a friend who she's really enjoyed it too. And I was like, okay, let me go ahead and watch it again. And I think it was just episode 1 that just didn't do much for me.
No, it was a slow start, I'm not gonna lie, but
Okay.
the only thing that really kept me going is I just really wanna see what happens, and I love the
Mhm.
friendship between the dwarf and the elf, so I was like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wanna see that play out. So, but it's really entertaining and I mean, I think it's worth a watch. I think they're all worth a watch. You go to Lord of the Rings.
You know what? I agree, though. I agree. I wouldn't have said that a week ago when we were
Yeah,
talking about this show. I was ready to say, not for me.
yeah, exactly.
But actually giving episode 2 a watch. Episode 2, I thought that
Mhm.
was actually really good. There was a
It
lot of
was.
action in there and some
Mhm.
story that made me intrigued about, oh, where's this going? Like,
Yeah,
what's next
yeah,
with this? So,
exactly.
um, they made a fan of me. So,
Yeah, see? And that is on
Lord,
Amazon Prime.
there you go. There you go. And then there's one that we both have been watching. That is none other than She-Hulk. We're Marvel geeks, right? So we're definitely going to watch anything that Marvel puts out. And I'll let you go first. What what do you think about She-Hulk?
I'm gonna be honest, at first I didn't like it, but I haven't finished it. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes in,
Mhm.
and I actually it grew on me. I think because there's more of a I there's a female empowerment storyline, but not like where it's like over the top. But I
Mhm.
kind of like that. I like that she's like an attorney, like practicing law as a straight up Hulk. I just think that's hilarious. And yeah, I've just been finding it's gotten better with
Okay.
time. It marinated.
So I'm glad that you went first because that lets me like be reminded that there are fans of this show. Because I happen to not be one.
Okay.
Um, so I watching it, I can see where people might actually be like, oh, I enjoy this, and
Yeah.
it's kind of my jam, and unlike a lot of the other Marvel shows and movies, this one, even though it is, she's clearly like not a normal human, it
Mhm.
feels normal.
Yes.
Like it
Exactly.
feels like an average everyday woman story, and like
Yeah.
she's a lawyer, and there just happens to be some superhero stuff that happens every
Exactly.
once in a while, and there's a tie-in here and there. So in that respect, I think like well done, Marvel. Like I think this is a great onboard for people who aren't really into like
I
superhero
think so
stuff, and it's
too.
like, oh, this is a cute, funny sitcom. Um, but me, I want to show up for a superhero show. And like, this is to me just feeling like a very average, everyday sitcom.
Yeah.
And now this is gonna even feel like a diss, but it to me feels like how DC has like their movies, and then when they do a show, those usually are on CW.
Yeah.
That's what this felt like to me. The
Okay.
CW, and I say that because the DC to CW comparisons from their movies to their shows is like the shows are kind of, it's just a different thing, has a different
Yeah,
feel, and feels like a
exactly.
less than and more of a dramatic or
Yeah,
whatever thing. That's just how this is feeling for me, and
yeah,
I'm just not here for it. But I am here for it because Marvel, this is why Marvel will always win. As much as I'm not really a fan of the show, guess who's still waking up on Thursday mornings to watch it? And I'm going to
yeah,
consume all Marvel content
yeah.
because it's all connected.
And yeah,
Because
there's so many cameos that you like,
yeah,
if you miss something, you're gonna be lost somewhere else, so you have to
yeah,
watch it.
yeah. And like Daredevil's getting ready to come, and
Yes.
like, there's all these other things. So
Yeah,
um
exactly.
they still get me. They still get me. Looks like Tammy's definitely not going to be watching it. She said that she hasn't been watching anything since leaving Texas. What did you do to her in Texas, Jario?
She was forced to watch the same show every single day, all day with Liam, and it had this one melodic song that it would just be like,
I feel like we need to watch it at one point. Play, play, play all day is going to show up on the
Yes,
show,
that was
huh?
the
Oh gosh, yeah.
line. Oh man.
Well, hey, it's good to have a break from some entertainment stuff all the day, especially for the sake of, like you mentioned, like a sabbatical. If it's actually for the sake of growing closer to the Lord,
Yeah,
and that's actually going to tie into a little bit of what we talk about in our Bible study conversation today. Some of
yeah,
those decisions that we make to get more of Jesus.
exactly.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.